Today, I'm here with Hawi Awash, the co-founder of Yema, a high-end luxury brand that merges high fashion with streetwear. Hawi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Wesley. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. Before we get started too, you have a beautiful location here in Tiburon, California. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys got here or landed in this spot?
Yeah, thank you. It is really beautiful. So when we started the brand, we started out with an activewear line, more sports bras and leggings. And after we did a trial run with that, we tried to go back and understand, why are we doing this? Because the leggings and sports bra market is extremely competitive. So we finally winded up digging deep down into our roots and trying to establish something that speaks more to us. So we started Yema with, Ethiopian, Kenyan inspiration, focusing more on streetwear, but with motifs that represent love, unity, diversity. And with that, we were thinking about having a store in Atlanta because we did a trade show pop up there and it was extremely successful. But a good advisor friend was like, if you start something from home, the potential of it, growing, the potential of it being close to you and you nurturing it is extremely high. So why don't you start something where you live so that you can really tend to it the way that one should? So that is why we winded up, starting a store here in Tiburon.
And was it ever intimidating to start here in the Bay Area where prices are so expensive, rents are, extremely expensive? How did you guys feel about, tackling that obstacle?
It definitely was intimidating, not just because of the high prices, but we had an extremely challenging time securing a storefront. Mm-hmm. A lot of these properties are owned by, corporations. So you'll submit your paperwork, and when you call them, they'll say, oh yeah, we have a space for you. And then once they see who you are or your credentials, they most of the time turn you away. So it was really challenging for us to actually secure the storefront. And once we were going through that challenge, we were also trying to understand, well, what is our reasoning behind actually opening a store here? Because there was nothing that was Black owned here in Tiburon, and we wanted to break that barrier and show the next generation that it can be done and it is possible to have a town that is maybe, 36 to maybe 40 people Black residing, but also having that representation in the center or the downtown area. So that was really important for us, and we kind of fought in order to make that a reality.
What inspired you to start Yema, and how did the idea for the brand come to life?
So Yema was born and raised in Kibera. Kibera is located in Nairobi, but it is the second largest slum in the world. And being raised in that community, the poverty line is really deep, and people make less than $1 a day in that community. And for him, it was really challenging to stay enrolled in school because his parents had multiple children and they could not afford to send all of the kids to school at the same time. So a lot of the times, he would go to school this year, and the next year he will take a break so that his sister can get the opportunity, and the year after that so that his brother can get the opportunity. So he spent a lot of the years trying to navigate and trying to figure out how to make life work in that community. And he finally received a scholarship opportunity to go to school at Dominican University for college, and he moved out here to do that. And for me, I was raised in a refugee camp in Kenya, and I did not get to go to school until the 4th grade. I moved to Minnesota when I was in 4th grade, and that was the first time I ever got the chance to go to school. And with that, I value education, and for him as well, he values education. So we've both been really involved in charity work, and when we met in college, that was one thing that kind of brought us together, having a passion for education and having a passion to pay it forward. And one way that we could do that is by starting our own business. So we wanted to start something that was unique and aligns with our values, but also has a way that gives back. So a clothing line, I love fashion, he loves fashion. Clothing line makes sense. we can do a lot of storytelling through clothing and through patterns and through motifs, but we can also give back. So our whole model is you get to buy really beautiful clothing that's unique with a story, but you also get to donate 20%, towards a scholarship fund to help educate kids in Ethiopia and Kenya. So
Wow.
those are the two ideas being married, and that's kind of how Yema, the brand, was born. And even the name Yema it actually means mother in Amharic,
Okay.
It's Yema, right? So it is Yema, mother, so a brand that mothers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super dope. And I had no idea, especially about being able to, I guess, donate or contribute 20% to some sort of college fund, which is amazing. But you mentioned that you yourself were a refugee growing up. What were some of those experiences like for you? Like, was it traumatic? I see the emphasis that you put on education. So I know that came from that as well, just, having to fight to go to school or not maybe necessarily having a chance to go to school like a typical American kid would.
Yeah, definitely. When you're growing up in a refugee camp, there's a lot of, especially at that time, there was a lot of choices, right? So your parents will have to choose, well, there's access to food, so you get the food, but going to school, will that necessarily be safe for you? Is it accessible? Do they have the means to send you? Are you integrated into that community? And, we were living in Kenya, and the integration part was not really there because we were living in a camp, so we weren't necessarily living in the city or with everyone else, and that kind of hinders your opportunity to be able to go and get educated. So there's definitely challenges, and I think, with every challenge, there's a beautiful thing that comes from that challenge, and I think I have tremendously benefited from all of those experiences and all of the perspectives, because today I'm able to have a really beautiful idea of what it means to get an opportunity, and I know what it means to pay it forward and make sure that opportunity doesn't end with me. And there's also different ways that it has shown up in various parts of my life, and the way that I navigate, and the way that I have values, and the way that I operate in terms of purpose and vision and dreaming and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really served me well.
Absolutely. What would you say were some of the biggest obstacles that you faced while launching Yema, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, so a lot of personally for me, a lot of the obstacles that I would comfortably list out is securing a storefront, and I've had to do it not just here in Tiburon, but we also ventured out and opened a store in New York. And that was in Soho, right on Mercer Street, which is where all the luxury streetwear brands are located. Off-White has a store there. And it was really competitive. And, trying to figure out, how do you secure a storefront? How do you build a business that is reputable enough for people to come and spend, good money at that store? And also, how do you create products that are so high in quality that people purchasing it are actually getting their money's worth, are wearing it proudly, are able to be a great representation of the brand. So trying to establish, a good manufacturer that gives you that opportunity to go ahead and, manufacture products and actualize some of the designs that we make, because actualizing it is also a huge part. And also on top of that, being able to secure storefronts and operate them, and go against everyone's belief where, a young Black woman cannot design, cannot own stores, cannot operate them, cannot compete in a big international market where you have huge brands that have loads of money and loads of resources that are constantly putting out new marketing ads and new this and new that, and you're competing with all of those things. So all of that is a challenge, and it's an obstacle, but it's a beautiful one, because you're building something and you're showing everyone that it can be done, and you're breaking those barriers, and you're giving the next generation hope and aspiration, right? Absolutely. So it's been a really beautiful journey.
What would you say is your favorite aspect of being a business owner? Is it the marketing piece? Is it the product design? Is it building new relationships with those manufacturers? What is your favorite aspect?
I will say what I'm really good at. I think I'm personally really good at networking and connecting with people. I am also really good at sales. You know, I'm able to really work on those conversions. And I think as a business owner, because you do need the numbers as well in order to back all of these ideas and dreams, I think those have been really fun. And I think the networking piece, because I've met people from all over the world with different backgrounds and different walks of life, you know, and I've interacted with people that have said, what is this? Like, how do you come up with this? Or others that would say, Ethiopia. Oh, I didn't know Ethiopia had such rich culture, rich history to contribute to a global retail market, you know? So I think those parts have definitely been super intriguing and also fun for me.
Absolutely. I saw a recent interview you did. I believe it was with the Mary podcast, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to get that name wrong. What was that experience like for you, and what benefits have you seen from sitting down, doing these interviews, or working with different podcasters?
Yeah, so I did do an interview with Mary podcast, and Mary in Amharic means leader. So it is a podcast for leaders, and it was definitely, you know, really beautiful in the way that all of the questions were asked. It helped me dive into understanding my own experience as a business owner. And, you know, these stories should be shared, because one of the things that both Yema and I really value is paying it forward. And when we say paying it forward, it also means for new entrepreneurs, folks that want to go into retail, folks that want to go into design. You know, we had a really hard time understanding what it means to secure a manufacturer that can actualize some of our designs, because our designs are extremely, you know, sophisticated. And a lot of manufacturers had a hard time bringing that drawing into life. And for us, we went through loads of manufacturers and doing this and trying that and spending money here and spending money there, creating samples, you know, doing all of these things. But because we have now gained that experience, if you wanted to start your own brand, you don't have to struggle. You know, you can reach out to us and say, hey, how do I go about this? And we believe in paying it forward, and we believe in telling it as it is, because the cake is big. You know, there's enough for all of us. And if you're creative and you want to do something, and I am able to help you achieve that, I should not block the way. I should open doors, you know. And we're great believers, and I think the Mary podcast did exactly that in helping me communicate that to the world, and understanding that we're open for collaborations. We're open to, you know, uplift our community, and we're open to hold hands and walk together and go to the next step as we continue to grow. And we're willing to put people on.
Something that's coming through in this conversation or in this interview is your passion, and I can easily sense or feel your passion and the energy that you have for this business and this brand that you're creating. Where does that drive and passion come from for you?
You know, it comes from a sense of identity for me. And I think I spent many years trying to understand, who is Hawi? What does Hawi want? What's Hawi's vision? What's Hawi's dream? What's Hawi's purpose, you know? And in trying to find all of those things for me, I've realized that I'm a tiny piece in a big puzzle. You know, I live in a world where a lot happens every day. And if I'm able to contribute a little piece to the bigger picture, then we can get somewhere, and I can leave a legacy, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to do with Yema, and that's where my passion and my drive comes from, because it's not about me as an individual. It's about us, the collective. You know, it's about Black empowerment. It's about reaching home and understanding what it means to have a home to look back at, what it means to be inspired by such a rich culture and a rich history, and people that have built monuments from a single stone by hand, right? And understanding the people, my ancestors that have built places like Lalibela and Aksum, live in me, and there's a piece of that I need to then pass forward. And I'm given such a huge opportunity being here on a global stage. And what am I doing to drive that mission? What am I doing to contribute that little piece? And I think that's what drives me.
That was deep, yo. Hey, that was hard. So what would you say are some of the lessons that you learned or that you took from having that store in Soho, having that experience in New York, building those relationships, to now being located in the Bay Area, where it's a different pace, different tempo, and a completely different culture?
Yeah, some of the biggest takeaways for me is, marketing is done in different layers, right? I think New York gave me the opportunity to market the brand on a global stage. And it also was a way of creating brand awareness. Even though we had our first store here in Tiburon, when we opened our location in Soho, New York, we were able to reach people from all over the world because New York has a huge fashion market, right? So understanding that and then also taking those experiences and being able to translate them to fit in every city that I go to, right? If I was to open a store in Ethiopia, for example, and the experiences that I'm going to bring there are going to have a bit of New York, a bit of Tiburon, a bit of this, a bit of that, right? Because those are all things that come together. And I think in terms of marketing, you need to be able to think outside the box. In order to be able to compete with those big brands that I'm mentioning, right? And also being a brand that has a good online presence, I think we're able to still continue to reach all of the audiences in Atlanta, all of the audiences in Chicago, right? And in Japan and in Paris and in Italy, right? So there's a lot of those opportunities that are still open. And I think it's a matter of how you build your connection and how you continue to work within your network.
I mean, speaking of brand awareness and building that connection, what role has storytelling played in getting that brand awareness out for Yema?
Storytelling is definitely a big part of Yema because even in all of our designs, I'll give you an example. I'm wearing the classic tracksuit. And on the tracksuit, you have angelic faces that are on the side here. But you also have the sun because we are the people of the sun, right? You, me, Yema, all of us are the people of the sun. We come from a place that has really good temperature and the sun is always shining down on us. So we channel all of those things. And then you also have a mezcal. A mezcal is a symbol for protection. It has 4 angles, and whichever way you go, because everything is 4-directional, right? Whichever way you go, you always come home undefeated and successful. So there's a lot of the details in our designs that actually communicate something bigger than just design, right? There's something that we want you to put in your heart because this is a brand of empowerment. And we want you to walk with that purpose. And we want you to, when you ask the question of who am I and that identity question, we want you to know that you are loved and you belong and you come from a rich culture and a rich history and you come from the people of the sun. And that is such an empowering thing to walk this earth with. And that's kind of what we focus on. And storytelling is a huge part of who we are.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to an aspiring fashion entrepreneur looking to create a brand in today's market?
I would say the first thing is identifying who you are as an individual and making sure that whatever you do with fashion and what you're trying to communicate aligns with who you are. Because if you're speaking your passion and if you're living your passion and if you're designing your passion, it has a way of catching fire, right? And it has a way of getting to people, speaking to people, and creating change that is long lasting. So I would say definitely dig in and find that out. And one of the biggest advice I was given with New York is when I first started the brand in New York, and then also when it came time to close it and move back here, one of the biggest advice that I was given was, hey, at least you were a dreamer and you didn't stop at dreaming. You did something about your dream. You took action. And you're not sitting here wondering, oh, should I open a store? Should I do this? What if this? What if that? You're saying, hey, I'm doing it. You're going out there. You're taking the risk. You're doing what it takes. And it might not happen for you that minute because a journey is not always straight, right? People's journey sometimes is a zigzag and it's not a straightforward path. And sometimes that path will take you to different places before you reach the ultimate goal. But if you have a vision and you have a dream and you're working hard at it, and you're not willing to let the fear of failure stop you, then you're going to get far. And I think that is what art entrepreneurs should take with them, is just do it. You can do, first of all, you're limitless, right?
Exactly.
You're capable of anything that you want to speak into existence and you want to bring into existence. And if you have that, just go for it. Don't limit yourself. And don't let fear stop you.
What I admire about Yema is the sense of fearlessness. you know, especially in the founders. I mean, you guys were just able to open up stores in some of the biggest markets in the world, New York, and now in, you know, the Bay Area. Where did that sense of fearlessness come from, of just like believing in yourself and like you just talked about, going after your dreams and chasing after what you want?
You know, we've been, as Black people, we've been really conditioned to believe that we can't do this and we can't do that. And I want to be one to break that, because it's not true, right? And when you're in business, 100% of business is risk. If you're not willing to risk anything, are you really in business? What are you doing, right? That's the real question. So I think understanding that if you're going to go into business, you're going to have to risk something. And if you're willing to take that risk, then you might be highly rewarded. And yes, you might fail, but falling does not mean you can't get up again, right? So it's about these things where understanding and accepting that even though there are going to be stumbles along the way, and even though it might be hard to walk in some of the paths, you're going to get up and you're going to continue doing it. Because remember, if you're just thinking about yourself, then you're not really doing anything. You have to think about a bigger thing, because life is bigger than you. Yes, you've been put on this earth to do something with your life and to live a purpose, but you can't be too afraid to jump to the next thing. And you cannot let the conditioning stop you, because, you know, it's not true that you're limitless, and it's not true that you are limited, and it's not true that you can't do something, because you can. Where there is will, there is way. That's what they say, right? Absolutely. So you will find a way and you'll make it happen, and you just have to continue doing it and not let the failures or the stumbles stop you.
What can we expect next from Yema?
Oh, next from Yema, I would like, my hope and dream for Yema is to see it in every city and every big market. And whether that is through partnerships, whether we have our own stores, or we do a different thing where it's something that's super unique and, you know, specific to Yema, I would like to see it in every home, in every city. I would like to see every Black person rocking a brand that is made with extreme high quality, and also that is made with meaning and with purpose. And that is my hope and vision for Yema.
Absolutely. And like, speaking of seeing every Black person, you know, rocking Yema and rocking something that has a deeper meaning to it, I wanted to ask if you could show us around the store and maybe show us some of your favorite pieces. And then I also wanted to cop a few myself. How does that sound? That
sounds great. Let's do it. So the tracksuits are some of our top sellers.
Okay.
And this is the 4th edition that we've brought back. So when we first started out, it was just the green and the navy, which was really cool. And they're really beautiful pieces. People dress them up to elevate, dress down. Like I was telling you, all of the motifs here have meaning. And then they come with a track jacket. And these are great for like travel and that kind of thing. So we did the navy and the green, then we did a black version. Then we've started to slowly introduce the different colors. And one of the most, popular pieces, I would say, is definitely this white one, because it is super clean. Yeah. You can definitely elevate it and wear it to be out and about. So this is one of our favorite pieces.
That's super dope. And I'm really feeling this green right here. I just like the richness of it. Like,
yes.
I'm loving this green. And this was one of the first ones you guys rolled out?
Yes, that's one of the first ones. This is a 4th edition of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, love this.
It's really, really beautiful.
Love this one.
And our newest collection is this sweater, like hand knitted collection. And it has the angelic face here. Mm-hmm. And it also has the Yema embroidery. And here you've got the mezcal, but there are also little writings that say love.
Okay.
And the Amharic word for it is fikr.
Okay.
So that's kind of what this one is inspired by. And it's great for, the holidays coming up. It's great for the season when you're just trying to put on something really cool to be out and about in. So that's that. And then, of course, we have the classics in shorts. And we also have these polos that are really neat, where you've got that design here, but it's super simple and super clean, so you can really, wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for women, we have our Jill Hamer pants collection, and these pants are super iconic. People love to dress them up, dress them down. The back is plain, but the front here reads love, And then you've got the face of a mother, because Yema, the brand, means mother, like we spoke about. And this you can wear with, you know, a nice blazer, a really nice shirt.
Yeah.
You can even dress it up with like a scarf and make it look super fancy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people really gravitate towards that. And most of our stuff is super colorful because color speaks vibrancy,
Yeah.
and there's richness that comes with that.
Yeah.
So we really try to focus on giving people that experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, that's one of the first things that stood out to me was just the colors that you guys use and how they pop. So I really appreciate that about the brand, and you know, that being a part of the message that Yema is pushing.
Absolutely. And even our logo, it's a giraffe.
Yeah.
Because giraffes have the biggest heart from all land mammals.
Oh, wow.
So we want you to carry that with you as you're, you know, wearing the clothing from here.
Yeah.
Because we believe everyone has the potential of having a big heart. And if they just tap into it, they're able to radiate that. And how beautiful is that experience?
Absolutely. And I love how thoughtful the Yema team is and you guys were when putting everything together. It's like everything is so intricately placed together and so just thoughtfully crafted.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's been really, really fun to be able to do that. And some of our jackets here,
Like
if you
this lime
feel,
green.
yes, this
Yeah.
is lime green, but if you feel this,
Yeah.
it's super soft,
Yeah, it's
right?
super soft.
So there's a balance of comfort and style.
Right.
And I think that's why streetwear is really cool, because it gives you the opportunity to present both.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the giraffe skating, because people with big hearts should have some fun as well.
Okay.
Right? And then these are the Ethiopian letters that I was telling you about. And these are, you know, Ethiopia does not use ABCs in terms of alphabet. We have our own alphabet, like we have our own culture and distinct experiences. So these letters are actually, they're letters and they read fikr, which means love. And that's kind of what is displayed here on this side as well. So it just gives people that experience of having something super unique.
I mean, and that seems like the overall theme to me. That's what I really like is Yema is essentially pushing love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
in every way. And through, you know, through bags and also pants and also t-shirts. And even when we do collaborations, like this is a collaboration piece with Play Marin, which is an organization located in Marin City.
Okay.
And, you know, they work with kids, empowering kids through sports to connect and bridge the different communities here together.
Yeah.
And give kids that come from Marin City the opportunity to play with kids that come from Tiburon in terms of sports. So when we did a collaborative piece with them, there's a lot of love that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
Because love is what brings communities together, and that's what keeps them, right? So it's a very simple T-shirt,
It's fire,
but it's
though.
very cool.
Yeah, that's
right?
fire.
Yeah, so it's definitely all of those different aspects, I think, that really truly make us who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard, man. This is all super dope. This is all super dope.
And of course, I cannot not show you this jacket. This here is a packer jacket. It is waterproof fully. And this here is called a mezcal.
Okay.
It has 4 birds looking in the opposite direction. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. And that's because birds are always on a journey. And whichever way you go, you always come home undefeated, because this is a mezcal. And historically, you know, Ethiopia is one of the nations that has never been colonized. And during that time, when the Italians came to invade Ethiopia, Ethiopians went all out with everything they have. I remember there were African Americans that flew with planes to come and help the troops to fight off Italy. And they carried this mezcal with them, and they came home undefeated. So to us, this symbolizes freedom. It symbolizes, you know, your ability to be anywhere and feel undefeated.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're trying to communicate with this. And down here, you've got the white, the gold, the blue, and the red. And that depicts the diversity in our communities. And us coming together creates such beauty, right?
Yeah.
And pattern and unity and diversity. There's a lot of layers of beauty, and there's a lot of courage. And there's a lot of community that comes out of it. So that's what we try to communicate with this. And of course, you've got the letters that read love.
Man, yo, this is so deep, and I'm learning so much right now. Like, I had no idea Ethiopia was never colonized and that somebody tried it, but it didn't work. You know what I mean? So that's
Yes.
hard in itself. Like, that just shows.
Tried twice, and it did not work.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it shows what happened when we stick together. You
It
know what I mean? No
definitely
matter where
does.
we from, we stick together. we can overcome anything.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
also just knowing that we all have worked together in the past,
Yeah.
right? And the reason why we are where we are today is not because of our own individual want or our own individual work, but it's because of the work of the collective. It's the work of the ancestors. And I think that's what we need to really, speak to, and we need to dig into and kneel into.
Yeah, no, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. What else we got here, man? What we looking at?
So we have, of course, this really simple,
Love that.
yes, button down that is Yema on the back, but of course has the mezcal that we just spoke about on the pockets, and it has 4 pockets, and super simple. You can wear it on top of anything. You can dress it down, dress it up. I usually will wear it with like heels and sometimes a legging, sometimes just by itself, and it's really beautiful. And you can also wear it with like, shorts and a sports bra and unbutton it, and gives you that really cool experience, which is awesome. And then of course you have the Sharktown Love hoodie dress, where it's like you can feel the material. It's really, really comfortable, but also like super good.
Yeah.
And then of course it has the Sharktown Love here because Tiburon means shark in Spanish.
Okay.
And then you have Yema, and 94920 is the zip code here.
Yeah.
So that was kind
That's
of the
hard.
inspo, yes, with that. And then you come into our Sea God collection. In Africa, where we come from, when something good happens for you, you don't say congratulations. You say sea God, because it's a form of gratitude.
Yeah.
And for us, gratitude is also a huge part of who we are and what we do. So we were able to start the Sea God collection, and they're very simple t-shirts and very simple shorts, but they all say, Sea God
This is
as
super
a
dope,
logo, and also as a form of expression. And they come in shorts and different colors, and some of the t-shirts have the Sea God, just the Sea God writing, which makes it even more simple.
Yeah.
And the black one has that graphic on the back.
And so Sea God is a form of appreciation, or
Yes,
a form of
gratitude.
saying, yeah, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a form of gratitude, because whatever happens in life, it's not because you did something, right?
Yeah.
It's because the ancestors and God made it happen for you. So it's Sea God.
Man, I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
And of course you have these button down snap button pants, where they're all buttoned all the way up. So technically it can unsnap all the way to the top. And then it has the mezcal design on the side here and at the bottom. And that's because the mezcal has the 4 directions like we talked about, and it's a symbol of protection. So it's really cool. It has zipper pockets, which is really awesome. And it's super flowy, so you can dress it up, dress it down.
Yeah.
Very simple,
Yeah.
but also really cool.
This might be one of my favorite.
Yes,
this might be one of my
favorite
favorite items
pieces.
in the store. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That's
no,
hard.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then of course we have our iconic jumpsuit collection, which is really cool. It comes in 2 different colors, and it's all gold here and gold here, which is really cool. And then Love Immigrants is one of the taglines that we've had for a while, because we are immigrants and we want to promote the acceptance of immigrants, and this nation has been built off of immigrants, right?
Exactly.
So we just want to highlight that. And our tagline is good, joyful, human. So be good, be joyful, but most of all be human, because our humanity is the essence, right? So that's why that is there. And Yema, of course, I've told you, and it has different pockets, which is really cool. And it has a pocket both down there and also up here, which also is really cool. And you can dress this up, dress it down, really cool to, elevate a look.
Every piece here in Yema tells its own story.
Yes.
It's like a walking billboard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pushing a specific message.
It is, and it's also encouraging, when you're walking and you're wearing something, Yema, we want people to ask you, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
And we want you to radiate and share some of these messaging, because that's what we need more of in the world.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with negative information that
Right.
we need positive energy to start flowing within ourselves, right? So all of these pieces just give people that opportunity, and it just makes people smile.
Yeah.
And what a powerful thing to be able to wear something that makes someone else super happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, this is awesome. So now I think I want to go and pick out a few pieces for myself. Do you have any suggestions for me? The first on my list, though, is one of these Sea God shirts for sure, because this is super dope, and I love the message and the meaning behind that. But do you have any suggestions for me?
Yeah, definitely. Sea God is one of the best pieces that you should definitely look into. I think a tracksuit would look really good on you, so
Yeah.
I don't think you should leave here without a tracksuit for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe a packer jacket.
Bet.
Yeah.
What color tracksuit you thinking?
You know, I personally like the white, but you said you like the green, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you get the green. I think you look great in the green.
feeling the
Maybe
green.
you can try it on and show us.
All right, that's hard. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
hard.
Let's make
That's
that
hard.
happen.
All right, but I'm gonna get this shirt. Yeah, need this one right here. Got to
All
get
right.
this one.
And is this your size?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
make this happen.
And then we're gonna go do
The tracksuit for
yeah,
sure.
we're gonna go do the tracksuit. Oh yeah, this one hard. Oh yeah, we need this one. Yeah.
I love that. That looks really good.
Yeah. It's the one.
All right. And I love that color too. How's the fit?
Perfect.
I think this is a
Yeah.
great fit as well.
Perfect. This the one. I need this one
All
too.
right.
Ooh, those are sick too.
So these are really cool. I feel like they go really well with that as well.
Yeah.
And it's the material is called terry cotton.
Okay.
So it gives you a little bit of a stretch, but it also is like fitted, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And then it has the Afraigaba Mescal here. And then it's got our tagline right here, good, joyful human.
Yeah.
Most of all, love. So it's a really cool piece.
Yeah, that's super dope.
Yes.
Love those too, man. Look, everything in here is icy, man. Everything in here is fly right. We in Yema in Tiburon, California, man. Doing it up, getting a couple pieces. Shout out to the good people at Yema.
Oh, the skirt is super
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, the orange
These
one.
hard, Shlon. I mean, good
Oh,
Yema on
the
me.
fitted ones, yeah.
Understand me? Good Yema on me.
And together is okay. I'm gonna get her hat
Yeah, that's cool.
from the back. And it'll just give you a receipt option. You can get it emailed, texted, or printed. And would you like the receipt in the back? And I'm gonna put a card in there. It just, says how you can find us, our Instagram page, our website.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is this for you.
Thank
you
you.
so much for coming, Wesley.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
give you a
thank
hug.
you.
This is so great. Thank you.